Welcome back to the big show here in Montreal. It's Alex Belfield talking to the stars of the festival, and trust me, in terms of comedy, they don't come any bigger than Ross Noble. How are you?
I'm very well indeed, thanks. I've just got up, so I'm a little bit on the gravelly side. So if anyone's listening to it, I'm thinking, oh, listen to that sexy man. It's because normally I start like this, and then my voice reaches its where it should be. By the time I get on stage.
So people will be presuming we're doing this at 7 o'clock in the morning if you've just got up, but actually it's about 4 in the afternoon.
Is it 4 already? Yeah, pretty much, yeah. It's good. Well, the weird thing over here is that, nobody knows who I am or what I do, which is, it makes for an interesting, it was quite bizarre actually. I was in Toronto. I did Toronto just before I came here, and I was in a club, and it was kind of like a comedy club. It was myself and another comic, and we were just going down there just to get warmed up, and I walk on stage, and I was in this comedy club, wasn't even full. There's all these Canadians kind of just, what, eh? And then, but the bizarre thing is, in the back of my head, the last gig I did before that was on my Australian tour, where I played a 10,000 seater arena. So I was in this massive venue in Australia, and then the next thing I know, I'm there in front of a room full of people who have absolutely no idea what I do, which is brilliant, because it's the sort, there's a lot of bemusement, because you'll make a joke, and they'll just kind of go, really? Is that true? You just make something up and they go, So, yeah, it's great. I'm really enjoying it from that point of view, because you find out if you're funny or not, because it's very easy to go, everyone's come to see me. It's a big night out that, it's that we're in the room, and but when you walk out there and like, oh, I wonder what this bloke's like. And then they go, whoa. Yeah.
Do you have little or no ego then? If you're prepared to do what is basically 50 people in a comedy club and then 15,000 in an arena in Britain, is there not an element of you thinking, I'm bigger than this?
No, not at all. Well, it was an arena in Australia. If I turned up to a massive arena in the UK and I went, it's been booked for Australia. You're an idiot. You've got no sense of joke. I'd like to think I have no ego, but there again, I did slip into a radio interview the fact that I just played a 10,000 seater venue in Australia, so you decide. It's good, isn't it? Keeps you as soon as you start thinking that you're Charlie Big Potatoes, then
Charlie Big Potatoes?
Yeah, Charlie Big Potatoes or Jack the Biscuit, you decide. They were friends, and as soon as you start doing that, that's why it's quite fun. Here you got loads of comics and everyone. You start going, oh, look at me, I'm a bit special. At the end of the day, it all comes down to what you do on stage, isn't it? It's not about because that's the weird thing here. A lot of the American comedians go their credits. It's kind of like before they go on, and it's like he's been on A&E's Evening at the Improv over 17 times. He was the first man to host the Uptown Comedy Jamboree. He's headlined in Uncle Chuckle's House of Laughter. There's all this stuff, And whereas British comics, when the Americans go to introduce you, say, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? And you sort of go, tell him I've been on Pebble Mill. It's like, what? There's Adam Hills told me a hilarious story. Adam Hills, the Australian comic, he told me this hilarious story. Ask him about this. And the guy said, what do you want to be introduced as? And he said, tell them that I won the Golden Wombat Award for Australian comedy. And the guys on stage going, this guy won the Golden Wombat, and they reel off all the stuff. And I did a gig the other night in sort of a 10-minute slot getting ready for the gala, and the guy just went, okay, I'm going to bring you on. And there's an American guy, and he said, I'm going to introduce you. I said, all right, great. And he sort of went to walk off, and I went, whoa, do you not want to know me credits? And he went, oh yes, sorry, what do you want me to say? I went, don't be silly.
It's interesting as well, because I followed you into that gig. You won't know this, and the guy on the door had no idea who you are and wouldn't believe that your pass was genuine, and did this great investigation for about 10 minutes trying to find out who you are before he'd let you in.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. It's been a while since I've turned up at a venue and I'm the act. You know what I mean? But God, that bubbling with laughter, that was hilarious. That was a classic example of there was half the audience were hysterically laughing and the other half were just staring at me, just going, what? Why? What? These aren't jokes. Why isn't he doing? Yeah.
It's not surprising because you're so fascinating. You have kind of half an act that's written and then the other half where you just ad lib, and it's hard to see where that blends, isn't it? Because it's so interesting.
Well, the problem is that when you say it's half written, not really. Sort of what I have is I have kind of ideas and then things that I can get into if I, like I want to play around with. But in a sort of 2.5 hour show, full show, you can take an idea and you can just kick it around, like on the Monday night, a Monday night I might go with it in a particular way, or I might do a bit of it, they're just kind of, rather than sort of writing material, just have kind of funny things, which most of them just I improvise them and then I go, I'll go back to that and play with it and see where it goes, and then see how another audience takes to it. So because of that, it's kind of I've never got, nothing's ever set in stone. There's nothing like that's that and that's that, and I don't know how long an idea is, like what is basically like a funny idea. One night it might be 5 minutes long, the next minute it might be like half an hour long. And when you've got 10 minutes, you sort of, you go on and you kind of go, right, there isn't really time to start kicking things around, so...
I have incredible admiration for you because you appear fearless. You may not be inside, but when I see you come on a stage, for example, at the gala last night, like you did 10 minutes on stage about the scenery. I mean, you can't possibly have written that.
We had a team of writers in for days and days. No, my favourite thing at the gala last night was my John Cleese. The fact that John Cleese was ill and was taken to hospital. He's down at the hospital. John Cleese is dead. No, he's not. He's resting. What do you mean he's resting? He's pining for the gala. Pining for the gala. He's dead, mate. That was. We were backstage beforehand, and like I say, what tends to happen here is people, they get their 10-minute they get their 10-minute slot at the gala, and then they do all these sort of shorter spots and hone it and hone it and hone it and hone it, and then go on and do their ultimate, knock 'em dead. Hey, this is really gonna happen. It's all, I know exactly what's going on set. I've never worked like that. It's not my thing. So so with the gala last night, I just thought, well, what makes me funny is just sort of is being funny rather than the jokes.
So what is it then? Are you a genius or are you just lazy?
Yeah, I would say the latter. I think it's easier, but then there's a lot of comics who go, what are you doing that? Why are you just winging it? Like that's because some comics get just terrified of changing even a word, because you get. But I can't remember. I think it might have been Bill Hicks just said jokes are just things you say while you're busy being funny, and that's what I like. I like there's two sorts of comics. There's funny people who are just funny, and also and then there's the other sort who just write jokes and are basically actors just saying But last night was great. You know what it was? It's like if I'm having fun, the audience is having fun, and as soon as I try and be something I'm not, it just doesn't work, So, but it's hilarious watching the Canadian audiences because they don't know what I'm about. It's hilarious because they literally do just go, and other comics as well, like like American comics and stuff who are on the bill, just kind of standing there going, but he's just making this up. Well, whatever.
When the phone call comes in and they say, we'd like you to come to Montreal to do a room of 100 people when you are doing big arenas, let's face it, you're up there with the biggest and the best right now. Is your instinct to say...
now, I like that, right now.
Well, it doesn't last forever, does it?
Yeah, give it time. Give it time, you see. Yeah.
We all fade.
Yeah, keep peddling that nonsense. I used to be on Radio 4.
Now I'm sat here talking to you.
Now I'm here with you, yeah.
When the call comes in and they say, do you want to come over here? I mean, you can't be doing it for the money because it can't pay as well as doing 15,000 in an arena when you're the star. Is this for you to learn or just have fun or to kind of have a bit of a laugh at the industry where you go, I'm big enough, I can do this?
It's purely for the I mean, one thing is, obviously I want to get to the point where I can play I've never been to America. I came to Just for Laughs about 10 years ago and went, oh, this doesn't really suit my style, I won't bother. But then the only reason, this year I've got my own show, so I'm doing a solo show which is a bit longer, and because they went, oh, we'll give you a room and you can do your own show, I kind of went, yeah, that's why I agreed to do it, so but with that, they went, but we'd like you to do 10 minutes at a gala, and here's a load of gigs to get you ready for that. So, but no, it's purely about the everything I do is it's all about the enjoyment. That's number one, top of the list, if I was doing it for the money, or for the fame or whatever, I wouldn't be doing it the way that I've done it. I'd be on Saturday night. I'd cut my hair. I'd wear a suit, and I'd be on Saturday night TV. Appealing to trying to appeal to nanas, and I think that's kind of, but I know that if I was doing that, I'd be stood there regurgitating the stuff that all my writers had written, and we were, but then you're dead behind the eyes, and it's kind of, it's all about just having a laugh, and this is, it's a laugh, because you just sort of go, if I had to swap doing my gigs and my tours for doing 10-minute spots and playing to people that didn't know who I was, probably not.
You get a proper job.
Yeah, I probably would go, you know what, not so much.
A couple of things before we go. I think I'm pretty fluent on the air, but there are times when I open the mic and I haven't got a clue what I want to say, whether I can be bothered to say anything. Yeah. You've got the kind of show that's like that, where you've got to be quick, you've got to think, It's not rehearsed. Are there ever moments when you look at an audience, you think, I've not got a clue what I'm going to say next?
No, the trick is to open your mouth, start talking, and let the funny happen.
Hope for the best.
That really is. It's one of those things. It's a strange thing. It's sort of like you sort of talk, and your brain kind of. Yeah, your brain. Well, what's weird is usually, if you think about it, your brain usually works faster than your mouth, So sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes I've got too many things I'm trying to say at once. Sometimes I'll have like several different things that I want to talk about. I do this thing sometimes where I'll actually halfway through a sentence, I'll combine two words. So say like menu and pen, you'll just sort of go men. And people go, why didn't you say men? And it'll just be like, oh, because we're getting to pen and menu, but it's like men, and it just, I'm trying to chair and carpet, you'll go carpet. What? Just because you're going, because it's almost like you're going, I want to get to the thing that I've thought of, and you just go bang, and people just go, what's a carpet? And then that in itself sparks off something, and then you start, I'll start talking about carpets and some kind of Moroccan instrument that's being unearthed, the carpet, and then you just sort of go in that direction. But then of course the problem is that then everyone's going, I didn't know there was an instrument called the carpet, and but at the same time they're going, but what happened to the chair and the carpet? So then there's two different. So that's the way it works, yeah. So very rarely do I kind of find myself going, nothing, yeah.
And very finally, the physicality on stage. Wouldn't it be easy just to be Jimmy Carr and stand there with a microphone and not move?
To be honest with you, it's always easier to be Jimmy Carr. Doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what you do in life. Jimmy Carr is the default setting for having but that's what's brilliant about it. It's quite weird. Obviously, the style I do is so completely removed from what Jimmy does, but I love it. I sort of, I think that's what's brilliant about stand. Like Jimmy on stage, doing his one-liners. Is Jimmy off stage? He stands, and that's what's and that's the mark of a brilliant comic, is a person who can go on stage, and obviously it's a heightened version. He doesn't stand with a clipboard in the bar going, "Evening, I have another joke here." Well, he does actually. What am I talking about? It's a heightened version, because obviously, like, if you're talking to one person, if I was to talk as loud as I do on stage and gesticulate and one person, it would be borderline physical assault.
You'd be locked up, wouldn't you? Let's face it.
Exactly. People would just be like, I'll stand at the bar. Yeah, but that's the mark of a brilliant comic, is the fact that, if you talk to Jimmy, he will say, he'll stand there and, you see one of the best things to watch, and this is if you get a chance to do it later, watch Jimmy when a slightly odd punter comes up to him, like one of these sort of and just watch him stand there and very politely just chuck out little one-liners, taking the mickey out of them. And but I think that's it would be, in terms of I wouldn't be as tired, and I wouldn't have to dry clean my gig shirts all the time because of the sweat, but at the same time, that's what I mean. The mark of a really great comic is somebody who can, sorry, I was tapping the desk there providing percussion. The mark of a great comic is somebody that is just a heightened version of themselves, so that's what's great doing the Britcom show there, is that normally when I tour, it's just me go on there and you don't get to see anyone else, but it's doing that last night, standing in the wings watching everyone go, it's a good show. Oh, I'm on here. Yeah.
Ross Noble, thank you so much for talking to me. You're a massive star around the world and a huge arena touring comic in Britain. Can I do a bit of business for you? Have you got a website or something I can plug?
Yeah, if you like, what is it? So, rossnoble.co.uk.
Why did it take you so long to think of that? It's got your name in it.
No, you know what it is? It's because I'll tell you why. Because I thought people would be misleaded because the misleaded? What? Misled. Leaded up a wrong path. No, because I just did the arena tour in Australia, and I went, now people are going to think that I'm doing the arena tour in the UK, and they're going to look for the arena brochures, but I'm 6 weeks in the West End of London. So don't go down to the Enormous Dome expecting me to be there in the UK. If you're listening to this on the web and you're in Australia, well, don't go there either, because I've just finished the tour. But in the UK, I'm going to be in a normal size theatre in the West End. Yes, but it's rossnoble.co.uk. Unless you're in Australia, and then it's rossnoble.com.au. But if you want to log on to the australia.com.au one from the UK, that's one of the benefits of the World Wide Web.
All right, Ross, we better go. Thank you so much for talking to me. It's been a real pleasure, and good luck with everything.
Thanks for having me.